Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to visit Washington next month. He's scheduled to address a joint meeting of Congress on July 24th, and it is expected to be a contentious speech as political divisions grow over Israel's military operation in Gaza. And this comes as heavy fighting is being reported in the southern city of Rafah once again. Residents tell Reuters that Israeli forces engaged in fierce fighting overnight, with tanks trying to advance further west. So CBS News foreign correspondent Chris Livesay is following all of this for us from Israel. Chris, what more can you tell us about Netanyahu's trip to Washington? I know he was invited by both Democrats and Republicans, but I'm sure some of what he has to say is going to get under the skin of some people, at least.
Yeah, that's right, Anne-Marie. I mean, you know that he's going to speak to both parties. So, yes, it is a bipartisan visit. But the big question is whether or not he's actually going to meet with President Biden. It's a very awkward time for the two to be in the same city at the same time. If Biden does choose to meet with him, what is that going to look like? Does he smile when he meets Benjamin Netanyahu, or does he scowl at him because of the ongoing rift that exists between the White House and Netanyahu's conduct of this war? And does he want to risk alienating the moderates or the conservatives in the United States just before an election? It's a very, very big question, especially as we have President Biden now starting to worry about what the relationship is going to be like with his presumed opponent in the next presidential election, former President Donald Trump.
Indeed. And so let's talk now about sort of the latest strike by Israel on this UN school. There's some conflicting messaging about who was inside. What are we hearing? What's the latest?
So the Israeli Defense Forces are arguing that, indeed, they did carry out this strike, but it was to target dozens of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighters, some of whom directly participated, they say, in the October 7 massacre right here in Israel. They don't deny that it was indeed on a UN school where thousands of Palestinian civilians were taking refuge, but they condemned Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad for using those civilians as human shields. Now, this has been the accusation of Israel since the beginning of this war, that yes, indeed, civilians are dying. And that's especially true when you consider that refugees cannot flee the Gaza Strip because Egypt has kept its border closed. But the onus is on Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad for using those civilians as human shields.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.